Hey everyone, Anthony here. Thanks for checking in with us again this week. Have several great reports from the staff, but before I send it over to them, I just want to remind everyone, if you have any questions about lakes that you're trying or baits that you're interested in, make sure to comment below and ask us questions. Our staff is more than willing to hop on, answer your questions to help you be more successful on the water. I had the opportunity to fish a tournament last weekend and tried a presentation that was a little outside of my comfort zone and had some success. So I challenge you to do the same. Try a new lake, try a new bait, and just experiment while you're out on the water, having some fun, enjoying the warm weather. Now I'm going to send it over to the guys with their reports. We'll catch you next week.
Hey guys, Jim here with Fish Addictions. Just wanted to give you a little report from the area of Erskine and Langby in northern Minnesota. Panfish bite has been on fire the past few weeks. We were out just the other day and we fished a couple different lakes in the area, and we were able to find a lot of crappies and a lot of bluegill. What we ended up doing was anchoring up right next to a weed bed, and we found that our crappies were in the weeds by fan casting over the top of the weeds with a 1/4 ounce jig and a paddle tail, and we found our gills right next to the weed bed, right underneath the boat. We just threw a little bit of a smaller hook on and some live meat and dropped her straight down, and it seemed like you were dropping it right into their mouths at times. So those fish are transitioning off the beds to their summer patterns, so feel free to check your lakes and look for those situations, and maybe you'll find a one-stop shop as well. 72-degree water temp and a lot of fish. So it didn't seem to matter what the weather was doing, sunny, cloudy, storms, windy, the whole gamut. So they were hungry and it was a lot of fun. Feel free to put those tactics to use. One little pro tip would be, if you're getting short bit on paddle tails, take a bite out of the top. Put that hook a little bit closer to the tail and you'll stop getting short bit with those aggressive crappies. And with that, I'll pass it on to some other staff members with some reports from around the area. Tight lines, guys.
Hey guys, Evan Palmer here. We were recently able to get out on a west central Minnesota lake and go and search for some bass. Went with my buddy Sean. We had gone the day before and found some bass on a deeper weed line, so we headed back out to that spot and were able to catch a few fish there. And then we looked for similar spots on the map that would have the similar weeds. That we then went to those spots that were similar, and they also held fish. So that tactic played off pretty well. We targeted those fish using either a Ned rig, which is just a little Cinco with a jig head on there, or a drop shot with a finesse worm. Those seem to be the go-to things. We were fishing anywhere from 14 to 17 feet in the weeds. That seemed to be where the fish were. There was lots of sunfish around, and you could feel them tipping on your lure every once in a while. And where those sunfish are is typically where the bass follow in this lake, so that's good to see that they've moved to those deeper weed lines and should remain there for about the rest of the summer. It was a fun time. We didn't catch a ton of big ones, but we did hook into a few good ones, so it's always good. But tons of numbers and tons of hook sets, so it was a good time. So good luck fishing.
Hey guys, Andrew here with Fish Addictions with a fishing report for you for Lake Mille in central Minnesota. Now, a lot of people are very familiar with Mille as being a phenomenal smallmouth bass fishery, and that still holds true. Tons of great fish, great average size, and lots of fish at that. So if you guys are looking for a great bass bite, central Minnesota, within a few hours of most of the population of the state, but guys are coming from all over the country to target those smallmouth bass, trophy caliber fish. You can catch them using a variety of different bait presentations. Look for that tube bite to really pick up here as temperatures increase. However, don't be surprised if you're catching them on walleye gear as well. Crank baits, swim baits, or even on like a slip bobber presentation with a leech, or even pulling crawlers. Smallmouth bass will take a liking to pretty much anything that the walleyes will. So great opportunity to get a little multi-species fishing in. The walleye population is booming on Mille Lacs. Tons of action, great reports from all around the area. I was on the southeast portion of the lake last week, had a lot of success, both bass and walleyes, great average size. Great time of the year to get there. June is a phenomenal month for both walleyes and smallmouth bass. We're looking in depths primarily between that 3 to 8 feet of water. Most of the walleyes, the better size fish that is, came out of 7 to 8 feet off rock. We didn't really get out to that deeper water too much, primarily focused our efforts in that shallower water. So you can find walleyes anywhere in that lake, ranging in depths from just a couple feet all the way to, you know, the high 20s and in low 30s. So we're kind of in that transition stage, so you'll find fish pretty much anywhere. The bass, when I was there, it was a little bit of a pre-spawn, post-spawn, and some fish were spawning as well. So you'll find a little bit of everything. Get down to Mille Lacs. It's a great fishery, great opportunity to get the kids out, good group of buddies, or even if you're going by yourself like I chose to do last week and make a day trip out of it, definitely worth the drive. So stick with us for more reports, guys.
Hey everyone, Chris checking in here with a report from the Stearns County area of Minnesota. I made it out this past week, not really targeting any particular species, just kind of going with the flow and to see what we could find. A lot of bait fish moving in and along the weed edges on this particular lake. We experienced water temps in the 70 to 74 degree area depending upon the depth. Most fish were definitely relating to that weed edge. You could throw crankbaits, you could troll crankbaits, you could throw spinner baits, live bait, anything along those edges seemed to really target fish. Multiple species including bass, walleye, northern, a lot of crappies. Didn't get into any bluegills. Those are still up a little bit shallower right now from what we were experiencing. But anything with some flash or vibration seemed to really trigger the bass and the northerns. The walleyes were a little bit more subdued, kind of wanted that live bait rig. Crappies we caught on a little jig with a twister tail tipped with a crappie minnow. So if you're heading out in that central Minnesota area, make sure you focus on the weed beds and don't be afraid to throw a couple different presentations. You never know what you might catch.
For more information on Fish Addictions TV, check them out on all their social media.